Hi, and welcome to another video for service process and improvement. This is Dr. Mahmoud Al-Odeh. And in this video, I'll be talking about the clear perspective uh, for the service process. Now, what we did in the past few weeks, we've talked about how companies and organizations they shifted from production into service, and we've seen that if companies wanted to stay in the market and not to lose their business, they should make that switch. And we discussed some ideas and strategies to help them to switch from production into offering a service. And in this particular slide, what you will see that as of 2007, you will see the GDP in the U.S. economy. There is a more businesses run as a service businesses rather than a production businesses. As you see, there are this chart divided the services and the economy into four sectors. The first one is A, which is a physical product such as automotive, steel, chemicals, and these has been shrinking. And now, as of 2007, the percentage of these type of products is 6%. Now, for part B, which is physical services such as transportation, retailing, that's also has been shrinking, and we see a 31% of that on as of 2007. For part C, which is information products such as computers, DVD, TVs, phones, and we see also shrinking, and that would comprise of 10% of the U.S. economy. Now, the major part of the U.S. economy and the part that is expanding is part D, which is the information services, the finance, the telecommunication. These are the service, the economy, the U.S. economy is expanding on that area. So we did talk about statistics. This is what is the current situation. This is what the economy is forcing organization to switch from production to service. We found there are so many issues with the production. Companies going to offshore, and they're looking for a cheaper labor, less expensive labor. They're looking into more profit, and therefore they found switching to service is the best solution for them to stay competitive in the market. uh, we're talking about globalization and global competition these days, and now they are in between competing with a very difficult competitor, because that competitor has better resources, especially the human resources at a cheaper cost, versus here in the US, the labor is expensive. So all that is, and many other factors that we talked about it, we force organization to switch to the service industry. We also talked about how difference production and service in terms of tangibility and the ownership and many others things, features that we discussed in the last chapter. In this chapter, we're going to talk about how to create a service, whether you switched from production or you are planning to create a new service in the market. So in this chart, what you see the first thing is innovation and idea. You have to have an idea. If you want to switch to the service, you should have an idea. And the idea could be coming from you. Just you say, okay, well, I like this idea. I think this is going to work. And this is unique. I never seen it in the market. People would like it. So this is one way, is because you are innovative and you have so many ideas. You traveled and you thought, okay, well, this is something that could happen and we should do it. Another way, there are so many ways for that. There's could be brainstorming. You sit with your group, say, okay, what do you think we should do? Give me an idea for a business. And you sit and you and you listen to them, and you collect these ideas, and then you rank it. So in this phase, basically what we need to do is manage the idea generation. Whatever you are you going to use it through you idea from your brain or from your team, could be from your customer by surveying a customer saying, okay, what do you think we need in this area? They could give you ideas. These customers are very helpful. In most of the companies, they do rely on customers' ideas. They have a specific templates and specific websites. They will ask uh, customers to go to their websites and provide them with ideas. So in this phase, just basically managing idea generation and screening from different resources. We need to look into different resources. Another resource for idea generation is a focus group. You bring people and you talk to them, you interview them, you ask them questions. So there's so many ways that you could generate ideas. So in that phase, we need to manage ideas, to organize them, and we need to have a wide range of ideas so we could evaluate them based on our strategy, based on our resources, and see if these ideas are feasible or not feasible. Now, the next phase of new service development would be concept planning. So again, we're still in the plan. We're going to spend so much time in the plan phase. So the next three phases here on this chart will be basically planning before implementing, before sending it to the market. So in the concept planning, basically you have a high level planning of basics features of the service. So what do you see? Okay, no, we have an idea is creating a restaurant, for example. You say, okay, what would be just the high level? We're not looking the detailed plan. We're just looking into what would be the concept of that business. If I want to open a restaurant, what would be the main feature? Something that unique that never done before. So you basically uh, create some concept planning. Is what do you want to do and to see in that idea. So you started with idea. Now you're going into more details, a little bit details, which is basically saying what are the main feature of the service. And now that will take you to the next one, the service development. The service development will include more detail. You need to go, you say, okay, well, I want to do a drive-through restaurant that will offer a good meal, a hot meal, and you start planning this. So you have an idea, you took a look into the concept of planning, you planned the concept, and now we need to look into the details, how to offer this. And in this phase, include develop the service at a small scale. You might say, okay, I'm going to try it just for a small scale and see how that's going to go. So you probably want to implement this idea at a small scale and see how the people would react. So we're not offering, be careful, we're not offering these to the market yet. At this phase, the service development, you're just going into the more depth into this idea, and you need to look into different details, such as how many people do I need? Okay, so how many equipments do I have? The space of the restaurant, for example, how many tables? So you look into that details, and you could maybe go into implementation, small scales. You say, okay, well, I want to invite you, my friends, to this, just few friends of yours, and let them uh, tell you what their opinion. So you hear their opinion, and this is where exactly the service development. It's having a detail. So we start with a general idea. Now we're going to concept planning, which basically just the high level planning for the main feature of the service. And now we're going into the service development, which is the technical details of the service itself. You might need to implement a small scale of that service. And now that will take us to the next level, which is the business concept. Now, okay, well, we have the idea, we have the plans, we have all the details that we need. What the business concept, what business model I should use, what market I should do, the price. This is where you want to do. You want to look into even the market itself, the segmentation of the market, which people of the market I should focus on, the pricing, the customization if you want to make it a personalized uh, service. And this is how you start thinking about it. The last phase is the implementation phase and delivery, in which is basically make this service available whether locally or globally. So again, this is a really unique steps that will take you into structured phases one by one, and that will help you to reach to a better idea, to a better plan. So you need to spend as much time as you can planning for the service. And in this case, you start with the idea, you have to go to the concept planning, service development, business concept, looking into the market, pricing, customers, customizing versus not customizing. And then the last phase would be the uh, service implementation and make the service available locally, or you could make the service available globally. And now that will take us to more planning. We need to talk about planning in more details. So this is just a general idea. What would be the sequence of offering a new service? And now we're going to look into even more details. And this is going to be the focus of this chapter, is detailing the service plan. What should I look at? What exactly the details? What strategies that I should use? That would be the next slide. All right, guys, now we're going to talk about the steps for planning process. The environmental analysis should consider the political, economical, social, and technological trends and their implication upon customer services, operations, design, and practice. So the first step you want to do is look into environment analysis. Uh, could be political, could be economic, could be social, could be technology. We need to look into the environment. Add to that the governments. There's so many regulation. There could be regulations. So if you want to open a service, you want to look into the political aspect of it. Would that help you to are you in the right area to service this people? Look into the economic. If you want to provide a high expensive service, would that be good option for the low income area? You need to look into that. Social now, some people, some aspect in the social, such as uh, is it allowed to offer this kind of service in that neighborhood or not? Technology, what technology do we have? So these are the things that we need to analyze in terms of the environment. Environment is important. The first thing you look into, just the overall, what regulation do I need? What the social, what the economy, where I should serve in this service? Should I is the government going to give me the license and all I need if I want to open that? So there is something important about the environment. So what we need to do, we need to look into the environment itself and see what these factors that will impact our service. Number two, the competitor analysis. And this basically we're talking about the we're talking about the service, the competitor. We need to see who are the competitors, and we need to look into the different aspect of the competitor. And are we competing with are we competing with competitors that have high standards that will not enable me from operating in that sector? So we need to look into the competitor, and we should review these competitor and what they offer. Also, we could learn from them. There are so many companies, they're basically copying their competitors, and they've been successful. Microsoft, one of them, they're just basically copying their competitors, and they are being successful for years and years. As I mentioned, it's important to look into your competitor, analyze the competition in the market, look into standards in the market, look into uh, uh, what things will help you. So learn from your competitor, and this is would be a learning tool, because you need to compete in the market. And based on these standards that are available in the market, you can uh, offer your service. The third step, basically, it's the internal resources. uh, what resources do you have? So basically, what you want to do is looking into the resources that you have internally, and audit your capability and see if you can offer the service. It is important to know exactly who you are, what do you have, what resources do you have, in order to know exactly is that uh, uh, a good step that you want to move to service, a good step to open a business, a service, or not. In the fourth step, we call it the SWOT analysis, and this is related to the last two steps, which is the competitor and the internal resources. The SWOT analysis identifying the strength, the weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and these will be comparing outside. So you're looking into factors from outside, and you will looking into resources from the inside. The SWOT analysis, it's a unique tool that will help you to better know yourself by looking into what is your strength and what is your weaknesses, opportunities outside, what opportunities outside in the market, and the threats. What kind of threats do I have? Do I have a tough competitor? Is the market not clear? Do I need to train my customers? So there are some threats that could hurt your business. SWOT analysis will be a unique tool that will help you to understand environment that's surrounding you. Number five, the market structure analysis. Now, what we need to do, and the detailed nature of your market. What is the nature of the market? And you need to see again competition. What's the competition in the market? The power of the bargaining power of suppliers, the bargaining power of customers, the threat of substitute, threat of a new entrant. So there is important to have a market structure analysis. And in this chapter, we will talk about some of the things that you need to do in order to analyze the market. Number six, critical success factor. We need to look into the critical success factors, and we should list those issues or development that must be addressed. So we need to look into what would make me successful in this market. Is it the high quality? Is it the speed of my service? Is it the price? So you need to look into the successful factor that will help you to succeed in the business, in the service, and that could be part of the strategy. So your strategy is maybe looking into the cheapest service, offering the cheapest service in the area. So that would be a strategy. Why not? If that's your goal, now you need to work toward that goal. Number seven, the strategic option will detail the alternative open to your company, which must be subsequently analyzed for their relative cost benefit so that an appropriate course can be selected. So again, what you need to do, you need to look into the strategic plan. How would you compete in the market? You need to look into a detail of alternatives. What alternatives that you're offering by your company? And how would you implement, how you make this happen? The service mission and objectives. So again, part of the strategic plan is to offer a mission and objectives, and should comprise a broad statement. It should be consist of a broad statement of type and level of service to be delivered, and specific to customer service goals that you will pursue. So let's summarize what we have learned in these 8 steps. You need to look into the environment, including the social, the economic, the technology, the political, the government aspect, competitor analysis, internal resources, your capability, a best tool to use that, the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis will help you to analyze the external forces and the internal capability. Market structure, you need to look into the market structure, how difficult to compete in the market, what's the bargaining power of supplier, bargaining power of buyers. And we will talk more in this chapter about the other strategies to do the market analysis. You need to look into critical successful factor, and that could be part of your strategic plan, part of the mission and vision, and these should be available to you and clear from the beginning. What is your mission? What is your successful factors? Now, let's summarize what we have discussed so far in order to a plan for opening a business. So we still, if you think about the first chart that I showed you, we're still in the planning phase. We are going to plan for the business. We have an idea generation. We have a great idea. Now we're talking about the concept planning, and after the concept planning, we're going to go into more details to the market. And this is where all these take place in the planning phase. This is, as I mentioned, the planning phase is critical to be successful in the market. And what you need to do, you need to do environment analysis, competitor analysis, internal resources capability analysis. So we need to look into that. And that will show you the strength and the weaknesses. If you remember the SWOT analysis, this is what we needed. We need SWOT analysis to look into these three things: environment analysis, competitor analysis, internal resources capability analysis. Once you identify the strength and weaknesses, opportunities and threats, what you need to do, you need to go down to the market structure analysis. You'll need to look exactly what the market that I want to compete in, and what the successful factor that will help me to succeed in that market. And that could be something part of the strategic plan that you need to put in your plan. The strategic plan, again, it is the overall, the big picture of planning that will include the mission and vision that will help you to reach to the customer service goals. These are the goals that you want to pursue. It's a plan that you put in order to reach to the goal. So this is what you plan, and you create some methods to reach to your goal, and that would be part of the strategic plan. Mission and the service mission and objectives should be also highlighted and clearly mentioned to you clearly, and that will help you to better serve your customer. Now, a strategy. We did talk about strategy, what strategy to use and how to use a strategy. First of all, what we need to do is we need to look into determine the critical service attributes. What the features of your service that will help you to meet the customer needs and expectation. Determine the most important service attributes. So once you determine the critical attributes, what you need to do, the next level, is to determine the most important, select the most important attributes that will help you to compete in the market. And these could be different than other competitors. The next level would be determine existing and potential services. What do I have right now? What is the current service available? And assess these services competencies and incompetencies. So look at the service that is offered, the current existing services, and see what they are good in doing, what they are not good in doing. So for example, if you look into a local coffee shop, you will see that they offer really excellent quality coffee in their local coffee shop. But however, in order to go there, you need to spend at least 30 minutes in the line to get your coffee. This is something annoying, and you don't want to get to that business, even they really offer good coffee. So maybe they are good in doing offering high quality coffee, but wait time is too long. So what you need to do is examine these services. Do you want to look into the competencies and incompetencies, their weaknesses and strength, and based on that, you could create a plan on how you become successful in the market. How would you enter the market based on what the other they don't have? Next would be develop a service operation strategy. Now, once you looked around and you find out what's the weaknesses and the strength of your competitor, or if your the service that exists in the market, you could say, okay, what is my strategy? You have to you have to create a clear plan on what your goals, what's your mission, how you make it different from your competitor, and create some action plan that will help you to reach to these goals. And this is how you offer. So for example, if I want to offer a cheaper service, car wash, a cheaper service such as a car wash. I want to offer a car wash that is less expensive than the rest of them. What should I do? I might need to invest in technologies. Maybe it's high in cost, but that's eventually will reduce the cost. This cost of technology and equipment could be, taken off after 2, 3 years, maybe. So what I'm saying is here, once you identify the critical attributes for your service, focus on the most important attributes, benchmark the market, existing services, and come up with a unique plan that will help you to succeed in the market. This unique plan considered as a strategy for you. And in this strategy, you should have mission, vision, and goals. Also, you should include the ways that you will use, the techniques that you will use to reach to these missions, visions, and goals. All right, now one of the things that we need to talk about it is the importance of understanding the market and how we could connect our strategy to the objectives. It is important to align the service of the strategy of your service with your objectives. And we have offered a few suggestions here, and I would like to share with you these suggestions, but they're in the textbook, they offer more. But I want to select the most important ones, and I will be talking about them here in this slide. The first thing that we need to talk about it is the positioning. The positioning, it's find out where you're positioned in the market. So basically, you're going to offer a new service, but before offering this new service, you want to see where are you exactly in the market. Are you the market leader? And that's a big difference. The market leader, basically, they influence the rules of the market. They set the expectation, they set the prices, they set the regulation. These are the market leaders. They want to influence the market. Or it could be a follower, which is not a market leader, but it's the next level. It's basically smaller than the market leader. And you could offer as a follower, you could offer a healthy alternatives to the market, to these customers. And you could be a competitor to the market leader. Other competitive positions include the least cost provider or the niche provider. So you need to know exactly where are you in the market, or where do you want to be in the market. And this will help you for planning. So if you said, I want to be the least cost provider, that's fine. See how you could offer a least cost service. So in here, what you see, just to demonstrate the positioning, I know this is for automotive production, but just to let you know, this matrix, the positioning matrix on page 117, will help you understand. So we're comparing quality with the prices. This is called the positioning quality versus prices. If you want to offer low quality and low prices, that could be like a Kia here. Okay. If you want to be the market leader, you could be like Ford or Toyota. Honda also, they could be considered as the market leader. These are the guys who's making the rules, making the prices, expectation. If you want to offer high quality with high prices, could be the Mercedes-Benz or Audi or BMW. These are the high-end prices and high quality at the same time. So it is important to know the position of your business, and this will help you to create your strategy. And how would you align it? So I said, okay, I want to become the, a leader in the market. So what you want to do, you want to do the market analysis to find out what the price is in the market and what the quality standards in the market, and then that maybe will take you to the goal that you want to do. So it is important to align your strategy. Your strategy is to provide low cost. Okay, what do I need? How I reach there? What is the objectives? So connecting strategy with objectives really important. Now, the second type, in order to align strategy with objectives, is you need to look into sources of competitive advantages. The sources of competitive advantages, it's important, as you will need to know exactly what's the core competencies of your organization, what the things that you are excellent in doing it, but the competitors cannot do it. These are, once you identify your strength, this will help you to form your strategy. And this will help you to connect your strategy with the objectives and use these strengths to achieve your goals and objectives. Number 3, differentiation. Also, differentiation is another way for connecting strategy with objectives. The service must be different from competitor. And so, for example, here's what I provided here, the life insurance. It would be absurd for various insurance companies to sell just one type of life insurance. If they were all providing and supplying exactly the same insurance to the customers, that would only ever be able to choose no on cost. So there's what you want to do for the life insurance. They would not offer you exactly the same service. By offering multiple types of insurance, suppliers are able to earn profit. So this is the whole idea: is you want to make profit, you have to be different. You need to make you need to be different than the competitors, offer something unique than competitors. The same thing for telephone service provided by the various network operators, and the financial products of many financial services companies suffer the same of commodization. So what I'm saying is, maybe these organizations and businesses offer almost the same thing, but there should be one thing that make them distinguished from other. And that one thing that will attract the customer to them. Through the lack of creative design, these companies are failing to provide a unique service and thus allowing their offer to become a common. So we don't want to make our service as a common service. Everybody is offering it. This causes the customer to choose on basis of price. So this is really interesting, because once everyone offer the same service, same everything, so the basis for that would be prices, and market price would be sensitive in this case. Whether the service is involved in simple maintenance, support, or complex added value, it should be unique. That's the bottom line. It should be unique. What the things that makes you unique? And this is going back to the uniqueness, the strength, the competencies that will make you different from others. All right, now let's talk about critical success factors that we need to use to provide us in a better position in the market. Any market has rules of engagement by which participants in the market survive or prosper. For instance, in any professional industry, such as law or architecture, all of the participants must meet necessary legal and industry standards in order to be participant, to be able to participate. So basically, if you want to become a construction company, you should having some license. If you want to open a law service, you should have some degrees, and you have to take an exam and you to be licensed. And the same thing for architecture and other professional services. Meeting these people, meeting these professional criteria is a successful factor, and it's not possible to trade without them. So you really need to have it. Without them, you're not going to um, offer your service. However, other types of critical services factors are generally less clear and are commercial imperatives that are the result of the evolution of forces within the market. For instance, it may be critical success factor that company has 24 hours telephone answering, or it may need the ability to bring a new service to market quickly. So now these some of the successful factor. If you have like a 24 hours customer service, that would be great for some businesses, not all the businesses. So the other day I was talking to my friends, and he said, the car wash in our area, they're not answering their phone. Yes, they're not answering their phone because their business is not a phone driven. You go there and talk to them, and that would be the best way to, if you have a question to ask. So they are busy watching cars, and they are not a phone driven business. So that would be something, the successful factor. Is it important to have somebody answer the phone, or is it more important to have somebody at the front line to do the wash? And this is something that you need to consider, is what are these successful factors that will make you successful in the market. In order to use the service again, to gain competitive advantage, supplier must first decide what the critical factors in the market are and which relate to service standards. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind, and these are will help you to succeed in the market. All right, this is what I like. I like these charts because make it easy and clear on what the success factors. So success factor could be based on these things, would be based on the word of mouth, based on the media, based on the value they receive, based on the brand, lived experience, the experience that they gained, that they lived, trust, competition. That's also will affect you're successful in the market, being successful in the market or not. Competition, emotional, rumors, myths, comparisons. These are all success factors that will reflect the customer expectations and emotions. These are all the things that you should consider when you create your service, and how this is going to affect the customer expectations, your image in the market, what the people are saying about your business. Is it good or bad? That's why you care about it. You absolutely, there should be like one or two customers they don't like your service. That's fine. It's normal. It's part of the process that people would not like they don't like your service. But look into the majority if they like you, like your service or not. So these are the things that you want to talk about it. You want to talk about the word of mouth, how to let people talk about you in a good way to recruit you. This is an excellent advertising tool and free advertising tool. Your brand, what they think about your brand. Do they trust you? What's the, how do you deal with competition? Are you offering them a better advantage, better features than your competitor? Rumors. If there's a rumor about your company, would you go to the media and talk about it, or ignore it? How would you deal with that? Rumors, myths, how comparison. Some people, they compare X with Y and say, okay, well, this service and this service. Now, In order to provide an excellent service and to win this comparison, what you need to do, you need to add value better than your competitor. All these are factors. Now, the next step is the segmentation. And the segmentation, it's really important because you want to, when you align your strategy to the objectives, you need to know exactly what part of the market you need to focus on. So the segmentation is a process of grouping customers into market segments according to the benefits they seek from the provider. Suppliers should choose segmentation based on service preference. They should then design the service around the taste of those customers groups. Nice, nice, nice. So when you provide a service, you need to study the customer and you need to design your service based on their taste. This is what you need to do. So typical types of segmentation could be based on geography, demographics, psychology, psychographics, benefit sought, use rate. These are just the basic. So for geographic segmentation would be dividing the market based on the location, north, south, west, east. This is how you divide the market based on the geographical. Demographic segmentation divide customer groups according to the characteristics such as gender, age, income, occupation, education, size of the household, and the stage in the family life cycle. So these are the things that you want to look into that. Are you targeting the gender, female versus male, or are you targeting the high income versus the low income? What exactly? So dividing the market, segmentation the market would make it easier for you to compete in that market. Instead of offering one service that fits all, that could be not a good solution. But what you need to do, you need to target one segment at a time. If you want to create a female products, then that would be, use the pink color, purple, whatever color, girls colors, and maybe you want to provide a picture of girl. You don't want to put something not related to the girl. So it's something like this. What I'm saying is, what age you're targeting. If you're targeting the older people, then you have to put, you don't want to put a young person on the service as a brand for you. You probably want to speak to them. So you probably want to offer somebody that looks similar to that segment. Psychographic segment, dividing a population into groups that have similar psychological characteristic and lifestyle. In these, basically, people decisions about how to live their daily lives, including family, jobs, social, customer activities. These are some of the things that we should consider when we do the segmentation. It is really important to segmentation. And here's the steps. Here are the steps for the segmentation. Number one, select a market to study. What do I need to know in order to do the segmentation? The first thing is you want to select a market to study it. Number two, choose the basis of segmentation. Are you using the segmentation based of the age, gender, income, geographical location, etc.? Number three, select a descriptors. This is basically describe what you want to offer to them. Number four, profile and analyze segments. We need to, we put the description for the segment that we're going to deal with now. Now we have to analyze the segment. We have to create a profile, what they like, what they don't like. That will help you to create some features that will attract them to you. Now, select target markets. So now we know what segment that we're dealing with. Let's go to the market and select now that market to compete in. And number six, design, implement maintain matrix marketing mix. So now the next step is to design. Okay, so what are you design a marketing strategy that will target that population in that selected market. So I selected market. So for example, I want to select the college students. So this is the college student that I want to select. I created the description. These college students that goes to college from age 18 to the age of 25, and then you analyze the segment and their main features, what they like, what they don't like. And I want to focus the market number 5, select the target market. I want to focus on the Midwest, for example. And now then you design and implement market plan to target that market, that population. And then this is how you create a successful segmentation, and this is how you go and uh, offer your service to this segment. All right, now we're talking about analyzing the market. These are some few steps that will help you to analyze the market correctly and objectively. The first thing that I want to do is understand the raw forces affecting the market. Changes such as economics, social demography, and technology affects the market. So we need to study these forces that will affect the market and see what's the economic situation of the market. What is the technology that plays important role in the market? So for example, just to give you an example on these forces, the technology has been impacted the service industry uh, by a lot. And one of the things that impacted by the technology is the banking services. And as you see, there are online banking. There was no online banking by on 1997. Wells Fargo started that service, online banking, in 1997, and make a revolution for the banking services. And so, if the technology is important in that market, you should know exactly that this is one of the forces that you want to focus and master. Next, understand the moderating forces, politics, legislation, and industry specific regulation moderate the impact of raw forces. So we need to look into some of the things that moderate these forces, such as legislations and regulations, government regulation. Next, correct market definition. It is really important to define your market correctly. There is a really good case study in the book talking about how you should define your market correctly, and they provide the British train company where they did not define their market correctly, and they define it as only train service. But however, if they define it as a transportation, that would give them the vision to look into the future aspect of the service. And that's where they're not staying competitive in the market just because they did not define their market correctly. Many companies miss opportunities because they think too narrow. For example, the market is transportation, not trains, or healthcare, not a gym, or ledger, not a video hire. So it is important to widen your definition to the market, not to narrow down, not to look into the small picture of your market. Uh, Transportation, not trains or cars. It's just the transportation overall. Understand the market structure. Where is the value chain? We did talk about the market structure, and we need to look into the value chain, how we could add a value to the market. Who are the competitors that leading the market? And we need to look into what they offer and understand the structure of the market. And that would be very good point to enter the market, to penetrate the market. Plot maturity. A service must be managed differently at the different phases of the market evolution. The market will be either be in development, growth, maturity, or decline. Excellent point here. We need to study the maturity of the market. How mature is the market? And we will talk about the service phases, and these are the four phases: the development, the growth, the maturity, and decline. And based on that service, you will see where the uh, where the things are going to you. Is it going to the future, or is it dying, declining? So one example is the electric car. Is if you look into the electric car, comparing with these, is it in the development, growth, maturity, or decline? Absolutely, it's not maturing yet. We are whether in we did develop it. See, we've seen a lot of electric car, but however, I think we are in the growth phase for electric car. So look into this thing. Uh, uh, DVD renting, such as renting DVDs, and now we're done with the development, we're done with the growth, we're done with the maturity, and now we're heading into just such as the red box. This is what I was looking for. Red box. We are in the declining, between maturity and declining phase, and there's so many blockbuster where the renting company used to be in early 2010, 12, I believe, and now it's declined. There's no blockbuster anymore. So now we have a red box, and now that service, it's basically exceeded the maturity. It's the last phase of the maturity, and now we're going into the decline. So it is important to identify these phases, and and based on that phase, you could adjust your strategy and your goals. The next step that will help you to objectively analyze the market would be the purchasing power. What is the balance of power between suppliers and buyers? And we did talk about it as you need to identify the bargaining powers of the power of the suppliers and the bargaining power of the buyers, and if there is a balance between that or not. We need to study that purchasing power. Also examining competition. These are the competitors in the market, and we did talk about it, whether they're leaders, followers, or niche provider, or low cost providers. So these are the things that you want to talk about. It, who are your competitor, where you want to be, in the market. Is that the position? Basically, we're talking about the position of the market here. Analyze substitutes. Can customer get the benefit of the service in any other way? Now you want to say, okay, well, if I offer this service, is there any other way that the customers will take this service from? And that will give you an idea on the threat. We talked about the SWOT analysis, and that would be the threat portion of the SWOT analysis: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And that will give you an idea how to analyze the market, how you adjust your strategic plan, how to adjust your objectives in order to succeed in the market. Now we're going to move on with establishing the analytical planning process. In order to establish and maintain a competitive service, it is essential that a planning process is put in place that allow organization to progressively select the level of investment and service against competitive offering. Planning is important. We need to look into different factors, analyze the market, use the SWOT analysis, look into the core competencies. In all of this is important. A position, where you want to be in the market. What is your position in the market? This does not have to be theoretical or complex, nor does not have to produce a document that is only used for internal presentation. It does, however, have to be recognized, practical mechanism to harness the realities of the organization, including politics, into agreed deployment of resources. Most companies who have made substantial improvement in service over the long term have a cyclical planning mechanism that contains several important steps. So now this is where we need to do. We're still in the planning phase. We did talk about different factors, the successful factors. We talked about the phases of establishing a new service. Now we're going to go into taking it from a different perspective, and this is what we call the planning cycle. The planning cycle is important, and there's so many organizations they've implemented the planning cycle, and it's been very effective. Again, this is not going to be difficult or complex. This should be simple and easy. Just better understand your situation internally, externally. Use as many tools as you can to know exactly where is the position of your service. Who are the competitors? What's the core competencies? How are you going to succeed? What is your plan? What is your mission? What is your planning activities that will help you to reach to your goals? All right, let's talk about the planning process and how we look into that. The first step is to conduct detailed search. And again, this could be repetitive from previous steps, but I want you to understand how you plan before you enter the market. Before you offer your service, you have to plan ahead of time. And this is what we need to look into: planning, planning, and planning. The more planning, the higher successful rate, the better you will understand your market, the better you will manage your value chain and supply chain between suppliers and buyers. So the first step in the planning process is to conduct detailed research into the customer views of the value of service. You need to have a detailed research, and that should be from your customer perspective. You're going to serve the customer based on the segment that you selected. Now you have to put the detailed research is important to better understand your customer. This also should involve the operational analysis necessary to determine the current performance and research into employees' attitudes toward the various aspects of the service. Once you are created detailed research about your customers, now you need to look into the operational steps that will help you to reach to your goals. Competitive research should then be used to determine competitive standards. We need to look into the competitors and look into these standards in the market. Then the next step is to decide what action to take in each area or service of performance. So now we analyzed what the customer needs, we targeted the segment, we have operation plan based on a strategic plan and goals, and now we're going to look into the competitor and look into what they're doing. And then based on all this information, we have to have an action to take to offer the service. Service operations management should then design the appropriate service and level of performance for each customer segment before setting up implementation projects in each area. So before you do that, in the operations strategy, you have to design your process. You have to create some performance measures in order to measure your performance before you implement the service in the area. This planning process can be repeated in order to keep the quality of service moving forward in line with changing customer requirements. So this is not just one thing. It's a cycle where you have to start with identifying the market by doing the detailed research, and then you go to the customer, understanding the customer needs, and then you look into the competitors, you take an action, you find some performance measures, and so on. This is going to go in a cycle, and that will help you to secure a good position in the market. That's the whole goal. All right, let's take a look into this chart that will summarize all what I said here. Step number one, and after you have strategic goals, objectives, and positioning, and you define the segmentation of your customer. These are just the initial plan. We talked about it in the planning phase. We talked about the idea, we generated the idea, we talked about the concept planning, and now we're moving into even more details, identifying the technical details, which is the third phase in the planning. And that'll include the strategic plan, such as objectives, positioning, sources of advantages, the core competencies, and the customer segmentation. Now, once you have all this background, what you need to do, you go to the step number one: customer research, employee research, and operational analysis. So you do the customer research. employee research, and operation analysis. That will then go to the second step, determine competitor benchmarking. You want to you take a look into the market and to the competitors and benchmark these standards in the market. Number three, take some actions. What actions should you take? Number four, initial design of the service. Number five, verify design with customers. Once you initiated the service, once you initiated the design of the service, test it with a customer, verify the design with the customer. Is that what they're looking? Receive feedback from them. And once you receive the feedback, you will have to modify the design based on their feedback. And then design measurement and metrics for monitoring. It's really important to keep the performance measures available to you, and that will help you to monitor and make sure that you're going into the right direction. Again, it is a simple and easy way to understand the planning phase. It could be repetitive for what I said, but it's important. This is summarize everything that you need to know. There are so many details. There are so many ways to analyze the market, but also this is it is structural. That will help you to reach to the a high competitive value in the market. It will give you a good position in the market. All right, guys, on this slide, what I want to talk about it, I want to go in depth. And this is basically the life cycle of a new service, of offering a new service. Whenever you offer a new service, it starts with introduction, introducing it to the market, and then the service will grow, and then will become mature, and eventually will decline. And in this slide, what you see in this slide, you will see the sales, profits, and competition in each of these phases. And why this is important? This is important because that will help you to align your strategy with the goals. So at the beginning, in the introduction phase, you will see the sales are very low. And there's no profit, basically. You're losing. As you see, that red line is the profit, which is below the zero. You're losing money because you're investing in this idea, in this service. And there's very little competition. There's no one in the market knows about your service. And then once you grow with the service, there will be a rapid growth, and the profit will start increasing. The competition, now everybody will do the same thing as you. They will copy you and they will compete with you. And the competition will increase. In the maturity phase, the growth will slow down. So slow growth, the profit will decrease, and competition it's like a crazy. You can't know exactly if there is a competition, or maybe you're competing more, you're having a more market share than your competitor. So it is tricky here in this phase. And your goal here is to expand these two phases, the growth and maturity, especially the maturity. You want to stay longer in the market by offering techniques in different ideas in the market. And the last phase would be the decline. In the decline, All right, guys. Now for this part of, and the last part of this video, I'll be talking a little bit in more details about the SWOT analysis and just share with you why and how and who's using it, etc. So let's go into the first here. What is a SWOT analysis? It's a tool for auditing an organization and its environment. So we're going to look into the organization itself, not only the inside of it, but also the environment, the outside. First stage of planning. It's really important when you plan for your service, you know exactly where you're standing, what's your strength, what's your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is an important tool for before you enter any market. The strength and weaknesses, these are for the internal forces inside your company, inside your organization. The opportunities and threats are the external factors. Who using it? These any business manager who is interested in offering a service and used to build strength, maximize, minimize the weaknesses, seize opportunities, and remove any threats. So your goal is to turn weaknesses into strength and threats into opportunities, and this is how you add value. So the whole objective for this SWOT analysis is to add a value to meet the customer needs, focusing on turning weaknesses into strength and our threats into opportunities. This is what we need to do: match internal strength with external opportunities. Why to use it? The main purpose of using SWOT analysis is to add value. The target is the customer. We need to serve the customer. We need to better serve the customer. And this is will reflect into more profit for us and will reflect into a better position for us in the market. Doing this can help a business recruit new customers, retain local customers, and extend products or service to customer segments over the long term. So this is what we need to do. We need to look into the long term, and by doing the SWOT analysis will help you to bring more customers or keep your loyal customers, or maybe extend to a new markets and a new segments to run for the long term. The SWOT strength. Now let's talk about the strength. What is the swing? The strength itself. The strength could be special marketing expertise you have in your company, a new innovation or products or service. Location of a business could be a strength. Being a market leader, that's a strength. Quality process and procedure, this could be a strength. Any other aspect of business that add value to the products. So that's would be considered as a strength. Now moving into the weakness. The weakness could be lack of marketing. We don't have the expertise to do the marketing. That would be a weakness inside our company. Undifferentiated products or services from the competitors. And we talk about differentiation, it's really important. But if you have a lack of differentiation or undifferentiation in your product or services, that would result into the weakness. That where you need to avoid. Location of your business could be a weakness as well. Poor quality service is a weakness. Price that is too high, that would be a weakness that take business from you, take customers away from you. Damaged reputation. You have a bad reputation in the market. This is where you don't want to go there, and this is where you don't want to. To have bad reputation. This would be a weakness. And now your responsibility as a manager how to fix this reputation and turn it into a strength. Opportunity could be a developing market such as the internet. So there are so many opportunities in the market. So if there's something new, a developing market, they need more suppliers, more provider for the service, that would be opportunity for you. Mergers, joint venture, or strategic alliance. So maybe you could have a collaboration with other people in the market that will help you to succeed. That could be an opportunity. Moving into new market segment that offer improved profits, that could be an opportunity. A new international market, going globally, that would be also an opportunity. Market vacated by an effective competitor. So if the competitor leave the market, that would be opportunity for you to take that portion. New technology, that could be an opportunity for you. Now the threat, what would be the threat look like? The threat could be a new competitor in your home market. So if there's a new competitor came into your market area, into your segment, that would be a threat to you. Price wars with competitors, that would be a big threat for your business. Competitor has a new innovative product or service. If they have a better service, you can't deny it. You should know it. You should acknowledge it. Say, yeah, they're doing better than me because of the innovation and technology that they have. Competitors with superior access to channels of distribution. So this is another channel of distributions. It's critical when you compete in the market, and the lack of having these channels of distribution could be a threat. Taxation is introduced on your product or service. If there's a tax increase on your product or service, that would be an issue. Uh, Changes in technology that you're using is old, and they have a new updated technology that you have to invest in. Weather could be a challenge, could be a threat for you. Regulation and deregulation also would be a threat. And that would be the end of my video and the end of this chapter. I hope I covered every aspect that covered in this chapter. But just a final thought about uh, SWOT analysis. Be realistic about strengths and weaknesses of your organization. Uh, it should distinguish between where your organization is today and where it could be in the future. So it is a planning tool that you could use it to move from one point to another. Be specific and avoid gray areas. So you don't want to be unclear about something. Make sure everything is clear. Always apply SWOT in relation to your competition. Benchmarking is a great benchmarking. Where's your competition? What they're doing, how they are doing it better than us, what we do better than them. This is what we call the competition. So SWOT analysis will help you to do that. Keep it simple. Use the KISS rule. Keep it short and simple. You don't want a very complicated SWOT analysis. And a SWOT analysis is a subjective. We should remove any opinions and thoughts and keep it simple, keep it related to the market, and that's how you benefit more from the SWOT analysis. That's the end of our video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a long video, but I have to cover all the aspects in this chapter. And let me know if you have any questions. With that said, I would like you to thank you. See you in another video.